Maria Silva. I'm Director of Community Partnerships at the University of San Diego. The university is very much committed to the immigrant rights movement, and there's a lot of resources that the university has that can be made available to the organizations that are supporting immigrants on both sides of the border, and that is a huge part of my work, is helping build those bridges and connecting the university's resources, both human social capital as well as financial capital to the folks that are ultimately on the ground. So in that regard, yes, and then also I'm limited in that my role is not only to connect the university to immigrant rights organizations, but to all organizations in general, and so that other piece takes up a lot of my time. So on my own time, I continue to do the work, volunteering myself, training folks on the ground. I did my master's in migration studies and my thesis work for my migration master's project I did in Nogales with the Kino Border Initiative over there, so I still stay very connected to that work and volunteer in different capacities there. I think all of us who are in this field have had to respond this past year more than ever before, and that takes up a lot of personal time. But I'm grateful also that in both the personal volunteering that I do and also my role at the university that I have those resources from the university that I can connect. In the current political atmosphere, I think the probably only positive byproduct of the political moment we're living in is the fact that we activists and philanthropists and community organizers and students and many have come together and stood up for immigrants' rights, and I think that's a part of the story that is not often shared because the negative political discourse takes over the media coverage, and I think it's important to share it. I think that everyone's freedom and liberation is bound together, and that I am not free and we are not free until our immigrant brothers and sisters are free to live their own life as well. So for me, it's a matter of a shared humanity, a shared struggle to be allowed to live our lives however that best suits us. And so until my immigrant brothers and sisters are allowed to do that, then I feel like my own ability to do it is bound as well. I think that every individual journey, every individual immigrant boy, girl, mom, dad that we work with should be taken as their own case, right? And so when we are able to connect one child to the appropriate resources, that in itself is a victory, and I think we should take the time to celebrate those small victories. If we're able to touch one human being or provide the support or resources that one person needs to take the next step in their journey, that in itself is a victory. I think sometimes when we see the bigger context and the scale, the number of folks that are coming and the number of folks that still need support, that can be overwhelming for sure and draining. But I think we don't do the work justice if we dwell on that for too long. I think we need to focus on the one individual in front of us and give them, he, she, our entire heart and soul in connecting them with the right support system and knowing how to celebrate that and go on to the next one. And in that way, I think we also acknowledge the human dignity and the unique journey of each one individual, as opposed to falling on the common idea that the media often portrays, or our elected officials often portray, that there's floods of people coming across the border, or that there's an invasion, or that all immigrants are a certain way, or all asylum seekers are this or that. It's very difficult to categorize and generalize this population, right? There is one individual story in each one of the human beings we're working with, and we need to learn how to celebrate the victories when they happen. Instead of dwelling on what might seem like the overwhelming context that we're living in. I think there's a lot of power in each one of us in being present, in listening, in learning about the issue before necessarily suggesting an idea or a project or a new organization to be built. I think there's already a lot of good work happening, and the more we educate ourselves on the context, on the challenges, then the more equipped we are to intervene. My suggestion for those wanting to get involved is to first listen and be present and learn, and get to know, build relationships with the human faces that are behind the immigration struggle, and also let them guide our interventions, right? Let them be our compass in how we can better support.
Is there a figure or an individual or a mentor or someone who has inspired you to carry out this type of work?
I think it's the immigrants themselves, right? The people that whose journey we accompany and who touch our lives in so many different ways. So the children, I am very much drawn to children, and so unaccompanied minors are, I think, within the immigrant population, unaccompanied minors is the subgroup that most touches my heart, and that is most in the back of my head when I continue to do this work. So I could name many boys and girls who give me energy to continue, and inspiration and motivation to continue in this fight. I'm extremely grateful to be a part of a bigger collective that is supporting our immigrant brothers and sisters. I think anyone from any field has something to contribute to this movement. There's room for all of us, and as long as we take the time to learn about the issue and to recognize each person's individual humanity, I think there's endless possibilities in terms of interventions and contributions we can make. So thank you for doing this work, for inviting us to be a part of the project, and for helping us highlight the other side of the immigration struggle that is important, right? It's not all pessimistic and conflicting and hurtful discourse. There's also a lot of people behind this movement that are still energized and still passionate and won't rest until we see all of our immigrant brothers and sisters thrive. So thank you.